What a great city. You've had a hell of a week.
It's a mayor's dream and a mayor's nightmare. I mean, between hosting the second most viewed television event in the entire world, 15,000 members of the media, and juggling a hurricane at the same time, I'm going to have a lot more gray hair when this is over.
So tell me a little bit about how you had to deal with, we'll start with the hurricane. How do you deal with, behind the scenes, those kinds of decisions?
Well, the good thing is when you live in Florida, it's in your DNA. You expect it, you live with it every year. There's no drama. You just execute your plan. You train your citizens how to react. You make sure they have their hurricane plan in place. You encourage them to make the right decisions. And then you just go out and do it. And you just go execute your plan. The challenge was you're juggling a major international event at the same time, with all of the security issues involved in it, all the worldwide press, and it was a little challenging for a couple of days.
I'll bet. So it worked out in the end for Tampa, not so much for some other places. Let me ask you this then: a lot of security around here. How difficult is that to be able to plan, and how much of that with the Secret Service did you have to work with?
Well, we work with all of our partners. We studied all the after-action reports from every city that's hosted an event like this, whether it's a World Trade Organization meeting, G8, G20, previous conventions. We learned what worked, and we promised not to do what didn't work, and build on their successes and learn from their failures. I believe in overwhelming force. We deployed over 3,500 police officers on the streets. I think it's working. We've trained hard to be respectful, to make sure everyone here has the opportunity to express themselves, whether they are Republican delegates or whether they are Code Pink protesters. And it's worked. Here we are Wednesday afternoon. We have 1 day left, and there have only been 2 arrests, which is almost unheard of for events like this.
You had a press conference, and I do want to get into that, because there's a business angle to this. First thing, though, I want to point out the fact that you're probably going to be the only Democrat I talked to all week.
That's okay. I'm the only Democrat that spoke at the convention, and I was proud to do it.
But you did say something, and my friend actually is one who caught it. He said, "Look, you didn't mention Republican or Democrats. It's my American." And I think that's something important and something you point out too.
Well, mayors are practical people. We tend to be very non-partisan, because the job that we do, people hire us to fix things and to grow things and to build things and to run things. They don't hire us to argue about a lot of partisan issues, to get tangled up in the nuances, to worry about scoring points against Democrats or Republicans. I'm a Democrat. I don't make any bones about it. But this event was about economic development for me. It wasn't about partisanship. I couldn't care less about the partisanship. I was going to put on a good show and make the RNC proud that they had chosen us.
All right, so we'll ask you a little bit about that. We were talking with Tampa Buckhorn. How is it going? It sounded in the press conference that I heard today that a little unexpected.
Well, we estimate the economic impact for this week in the short term will be about $150 million.
All right, so that's not unexpected.
Yeah, that's good.
What about local businesses in downtown Tampa?
We also recognize going into this that there will be some businesses that will do very, very, very well, perhaps have their best year ever, best week ever. And there will be some businesses whose expectations were higher than perhaps were realistic, particularly those very close to the security barricades, because a number of people don't want to deal with the hassle. Their regular customers probably stayed away to some degree because they were telecommuting or they were working from home or they took a day off. And so some of the local, particularly restaurants, didn't do as well as they thought they were going to do. The delegates tend to stay inside the secure perimeter, get on a bus, and go to their parties or go back to their hotel, and that's where they do their dining. But I can tell you other restaurants 2 miles from here have been slammed breakfast, lunch, and dinner for the entire time. There are a lot of folks here who are dropping a lot of money.
So is it hard to manage some of that as far as you can't argue with the security, you can't argue with the perimeter, and you're not going to argue with the Secret Service?
No, and there are always winners and losers. I can't guarantee outcomes. All I can do is try and guarantee opportunities. For some, this won't be the event they expected. For others, they'll be ecstatic. And so people need to realize that and understand going into this. And for other cities who are going to host things like this, you need to be as transparent as you can, and not set the expectations so high that you're never going to succeed.
Mayor Bob Buckhorn, your city has done a great job.
That's music to my ears. That's what we set out to do, and I've heard it from almost every delegate that's ever stopped me here today.
Thank you, Mayor. Appreciate it.
It's good to see you.
Live from Tampa with 590-96.5.